Well, closer to home, today also marks the 5th anniversary since the Westgate attack here in Nairobi. More than 70 people were killed when al-Shabaab militants laid siege to the Westgate Mall in the Kenyan capital. Police have called for vigilance after 2 suspected terrorists were arrested in a Nairobi suburb on Thursday night. Authorities have provided few details, but it's understood that police received a tip-off that they had been planning an attack. In September 2013, gunmen stormed the Westgate Mall, opening fire on shoppers and taking hostages. It took the military 3 days to overpower the terrorists. Most of the 71 victims were civilians. Another 200 people were injured. Well, for more on this, we are joined by Dr. Mustafa Ali. He is a security expert based here in Nairobi from the Horn Institute. Thank you very much for joining us. So the Westminster attack was a brazen one, as we know, and it showed the extent that the extremists can go to. What lessons do you think we need to learn from the investigations into this tragedy?
Yeah, one is first of all, the response to the Westgate attack by the security agencies was a total or near total disaster. The strategic communication that came, or the communication that came as the attack was unfolding, was another disaster. The fact that there was a tip-off and that the security agencies did not act on the intelligence then was a third disaster.
So it's a series of problems. A
series of problems that led to the whole operation being bungled.
And, well, what's been learned from this?
Yeah, I think what you can see today is that there is less and less terrorist attacks, and even if those terrorist attacks are carried out, that the security agencies are able to respond to better. There's been a lot of reorganizations and recalibration of the security agencies. Interagency communication and joint response has really made it possible for most of the terrorist attacks, first of all, to be scuttled before the actual attack takes place, or if indeed they attack, they are neutralized as soon as possible.
Well, let's talk a little bit more about these measures. Do you think they're adequate enough to ensure that Kenya is able to prevent any future terrorist attacks?
I think the very fact that we've not had a major terrorist attack on Kenyan soil for the last 3 or 4 years means that these measures that have been put in place are fairly adequate. But as you know, you really cannot 100% prevent a terrorist from attacking a country.
Well, we believe there was a tip-off last night, and it looks like the forces did act on that one.
Yeah, precisely, and perhaps they wanted, the terrorists themselves wanted to mark the 5th anniversary by carrying out another attack, and that this was stopped on their tracks.
Let's talk a bit more about the terrorist group, al-Shabaab, the Somali militant group. Do you think their capabilities have been degraded? And what should East African countries do?
Yeah, military capabilities and their ability to attack, yes, degraded, diminished significantly, but that this is still a lethal group, and their way of working operationally is that they go underground when there is significant pressure on them, and that they could still come up. And I believe that the security agencies should work a lot harder, and that a change of tack is important to address violent extremism, and utilization or rather a mobilization of more or softer approaches to address violent extremism, and to dry up the pools from which the terrorists recruit from is critical if the security agencies are going to address this problem in the long run.
Okay, so vigilance still needed.
Precisely.
Thank you very much. Dr. Mustafa Ali, a security expert from the Horn Institute here in Nairobi. Thank you very much for your analysis.